If your dryer won't start at all, you need to start with the easiest problems first. Assuming that it has power and you've checked the breaker, there's three things you can also check that are easy to fix and are cheap. Each door of a dryer has a switch. Now this one's right here. It might be a different color, it might be in a different spot, but a dryer is not going to turn on, just for safety reasons, if the door is open. So you can test the switch just by listening to it. Hear that clicking noise. Now a bad switch will often not make any noise. It'll sound like that. I'm just not pushing it all the way. But if you hear that noise, chances are it's working fine. Now you can test it, but before I did that, I would check the thermal fuse in the back. Now let's pull this out and I'll show you where that is. Okay, the dryer is pulled away from the wall, and I'm going to remove this back panel by unscrewing all of these screws here. Now they fit great inside a standard driver with removable tips, so I'll take this out. And before I do that, I'm definitely gonna unplug this, because this is the one home appliance you don't want to mess with when it comes to electricity. Now I was helping a friend move not long ago, and he brought his dryer from his old house to his new house, and his, I believe it was a Maytag, actually had the thermal fuse right here on accessible on the panel itself, so you didn't have to take this whole thing off. That's kind of how common these are to go out. So anyway, let's remove this. Looking at the back, you can easily find it by following the wires. There it is right there, the thermal fuse. They're usually white. And we'll only have two wires going to it, and it looks really simple, doesn't it? There's a little bit of a notch in there to slip onto that piece of metal, and then the other end's just held in with one screw. So we're going to disconnect these wires and test it with a multimeter. Okay, here's a very inexpensive ohm meter. I have it set to 200 ohms of resistance, and you could also use that setting if you wanted. It doesn't really matter. We're just looking to see if this display changes at all when I hook these two leads up. So I'll hook one up there, hook one up there, and we'll check the display. Yep, check that out. 0.6. And see if I were to connect these together, 0.5. So it's showing that there is an electric current that's traveling through. So you know that if you need to buy a new fuse, they are pretty inexpensive, just a couple bucks, and that includes shipping. You can get them online, you can get them a lot of places, at appliance repair places. I don't know if Home Depot and Lowe's sells them, so if somebody else knows, put it in the comments section. And you see how these wires are the same color? Usually whenever you see that, that means it doesn't matter which one hooks up to what. So blue and blue, I could have swapped them. It's not going to matter on a fuse. So if your fuse wasn't the problem, then it could be your start switch. You would take this off and test it the same way, making sure that when you pushed it, you're getting current on the two leads so that it's signaling to the dryer to start. Anyway, I hope that's helped. If it has, please click like. Thanks.